wonderful. Let me share a little story with you. How many of you are grandmothers in this room? The majority of us. So you know we love to tell our stories about our grandchildren. And I know I only have 20 minutes. But I was taking my granddaughter to school the other day. She's 4 years old. Her name is Emma. And we're going down the road and the radio was on. And on the radio it was talking about what's going on in Libya. And, you know, all the horrible things happening. And my granddaughter sounded like she was about to cry. And I said, Emma, what's wrong? And she said, somebody's trying to hurt Olivia, which is her friend at school. And I thought, okay, great teaching moment. You know how us grandmas always like to catch those teaching moments that we can teach our children. And I said, oh no, Emma, they're not talking about Olivia. They're talking about Libya, which is a country far, far away. And their president, you know, is being mean to the people. And you know, he's hurting his people. And she said, is he going to come hurt me? And I said, no, he's far, far away. We live in the United States of America, and we have a different president. And his name is Barack Obama. And you know, here I'm thinking, I'm just teaching, I'm getting all these little teaching moments here. The president is Barack Obama. And she said, Mama, what is a president? Okay, how do you tell a 4-year-old? You know, her questions never stop. What is a president? And I said, let's see, how do you tell a 4-year-old? Well, the president of the country is like the boss of the whole country. And this is when the teaching moment changed. She said, oh no, Mama, oh Mama can't be the boss. Jesus is the boss. And I thought, I got my teaching moment. I mean, this is from a 4-year-old. And you know what? She has a relationship with Jesus Christ. Do you have that relationship with Jesus Christ that you know, no matter what comes against you, that Jesus is the boss? Think of that 4-year-old. You don't need a great theologian. I think my husband's a wonderful theologian. He's a great Bible teacher, and he's taught me so many things about the Bible. But my 4-year-old knows Jesus is the boss. And as long as we never forget that, that's what's important. You know, Ezekiel says in Ezekiel 36 that I give unto you a new spirit. A new spirit. And he will put his spirit into you. Now, when he said and, that makes me feel like, maybe some of you theologians out there can tell me different, but that makes me feel there's two spirits in me. There's my spirit, and there's the Spirit of God, if I have that relationship with Jesus Christ. And I think that's what's so important. But the reason that scripture is so important to me, because think about it. I have my spirit, and God's Spirit lives within me. You know, in the Old Testament, my husband's a great teacher on the tabernacle, and in the Bible, when it's talking about that God said, build me a tabernacle that I could dwell among you. We don't have a tabernacle. Where does God dwell now? I am the tabernacle. He dwells within me. But you know, your attitude, your relationship that you have with Him determines how that Spirit can operate in you. Because God is a gentleman. He will not force His attitude or His Spirit on you. And if He lives in you, and your spirit is there, what kind of spirit do you have? You know, because God can't operate in sin. And I would ask you today, if Jesus is the boss of your life, do you have unforgiveness in your heart? Do you have hatred in your heart? Because, you know, God can't operate in that. And if you want the fullness of God's Spirit to operate in your life, and His Word says His Spirit is in me. His Spirit is in me, and I want that total relationship. I want to know that if something happened to my husband, that I could have that peace and joy. Am I going to cry? Would I be hurt? Yes. I mean, that's just, it's just a natural thing. Can you go smile and laugh and have joy that you've lost a child or lost a spouse? She also shared something else with me, that she cries in her room at night. You know, sure, she's normal. She's going to hurt. She's going to be sad that she's lost her partner of life. But does that change the path that God has made for her? Absolutely not. Because she allows that Spirit of God to give her peace and to comfort her in those dark nights when she's missing Him with her, and she's sad and she's lonely because He's not there with her. That's normal. That's a natural. So don't think that you can that you're not going to experience those things. I went to a funeral once, my husband and I. It was from a lady in our church had lost her husband, and we went to the funeral. No one cried. No one. I've never been to a funeral where I never saw tears. And she said she just had such a faith in God that she was joyful and she didn't need to cry. And it's still, and I understand that. But when we left, I told my husband, you know what? When I die, if I go before you, I don't care if you have to fake it. Somebody better cry. I want somebody to cry. I mean, God's going to be happy. He's bringing me home, and I know my family will know I'm in a better place. But when we go to our Heavenly Father, there's still going to be sadness. Hopefully there's going to be sadness from somebody we've left behind. That somebody in the dark nights, when they're in their bedroom, are going to cry and be sad that I'm not there, but be thankful and blessed that I'm in a better place. So all I can say to you, am I seeing my zero? Okay, it's getting close. I love you guys, and it has been such a joy to share with y'all. And as I said, I'm not a minister. I've never been a conference speaker, but there's one thing I am, and that is a Christian. I'm a sister in the Lord. And I encourage you, don't make excuses for not doing for God. Don't make excuses. Sister Liliana could make every excuse in the world for not doing for God right now. But instead of making excuses, she's making testimony. She's sharing that peace and joy. And just to look at her last night was a testimony before she ever opened her mouth. She was a testimony to us. And that's what I want to be. I want to be a testimony. I don't want unforgiveness in my heart. I don't want hatred in my heart. There's people that are very hard to forgive sometimes. And in myself, if it was only my little spirit there, it would be hard sometimes to even love them. But you know what? I don't have to. If I've got the Spirit in God in me, I can just back up and allow God to love them. I can allow the forgiveness that God gave me. God gave me. And we all could tell our stories. I'm looking forward to listening to Sister to Sister Kim's story. She was sharing a little bit with me at the table. We've all got our stories we can share about things that happen in life, but don't use them as an excuse. Don't use the trials that happen to you in life as a crutch. Because you can let the devil just give you excuse after excuse after excuse for why you don't serve God. I just don't have time. I can't get out of bed. I got a migraine. Where is Sister Patsy? I mean, we've all, as we get older, we get our health, our aches and pains. Sister Bernice is a perfect example. She's still trying so hard to keep on keeping on. She's 90 years old. You know what? Even if you're laid upon a bed of pain, can you not pray? Yes. Does that mean I got a migraine so God's Spirit's not in me today? No. God, that's what's wonderful. It's God's Spirit that's within us that gives us that relationship and that strength. Y'all want to hear stories in the Bible of people that could have made excuses? Job. There's so many different things. Lazarus was dead. How many stories do we hear about Lazarus? There's so many stories in the Bible that things that happened to these people, but yet they went on and carried on the work of God and continued on to keep because they had that relationship. I have a little plaque in my office at the bank that says Christianity is not a religion. What is it? It's a relationship with Jesus Christ. I don't really care what denomination you are. That's usually the first thing people ask you when you start talking about, what church do you go to? What church do you go to? What denomination are you? Who cares? I'm a Christian. God's Spirit lives in me. It doesn't matter if I'm a Baptist, a Catholic, a Baptist-Costal, whatever I am first and foremost a child of God. His Spirit lives within me. And I thank God for every step that I have come through in life, through the struggles, through the trials, because they make me stronger. What do they say? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger? Oh, God, divorce. That's not a pleasing thing to God, but sometimes it's a necessary thing for our sanity. But whatever you have gone through, losing a child, watching a child hurt or suffer, I just can't imagine the pain of watching a child die. But you know what? There are people, I have people that are friends of mine that are struggling with losing a child, but they get on Facebook. Yes, Facebook. Our contact with the world. They get on Facebook and talk about the glory of God, that God is with us, that God's got a plan for her life, that they're still praying for healing right up to whenever God either heals here or God heals there. You know, God, when you call my house, if you don't get anyone to answer the phone, the message is from my husband, thank you for calling, I'm sorry we can't answer the phone. God is still in control. That's the last thing you hear. God is still in control. So you know what? You can feel sorry for yourself if you're going through a struggle. You can try to build your support group with everyone else to come in and feel sorry for you. Or you can just say, bless God, it's tough, but God is still in control. And I know without a doubt, that my relationship with Him, He didn't save me just to throw me out and let me go. My husband said something once that just shocked me. I thought, oh Lord, we'll never have anyone else come to church. He said, you know, there's something far, far greater than salvation. There's one thing far greater than salvation, and that's to have a relationship with the one that saved you. He didn't just save us. We're not like churches where another person walked in the door, let's add another member to the roster there. It's all about numbers, numbers, numbers. God doesn't save us just to get another check mark on his post-it notes. He saved us for His pleasure. He created us for His pleasure. He saved us that we could have a relationship with Him.